When I was a little girl, my dad simply said a phrase to me that stuck with me forever. He said, "You are such a lucky little girl. You live in a bowl of mountains. Look around and see all the mountains that you're surrounded by." Now, what he was doing here was more than just sharing a thought, because as you can tell, I'm not a little girl anymore, and this has still stuck with me. Through this little explanation that he gave me, he taught me how to appreciate where I lived. He didn't go into a long-winded lecture. Instead, he just met me where I was and gave me a short explanation. And that short explanation has stuck with me and helped me appreciate where I grew up. And we can do that as parents. We may have values or principles that we want to teach our kids, and we are capable of doing that. Sometimes we might feel a little bit overwhelmed by the task when we think of all that we want to teach them, all the important principles and values. Instead of being overwhelmed by it, I'm here to encourage you, to tell you, you've got this. You can absolutely teach your children. And I like to recommend teaching in magic moments. Magic moments are opportunities to teach in simple ways, simple things that you feel important, that you would like your kids to know. But we need to be cautioned to not go into long-winded explanations or falling into the lecture mode. Instead of that, keep it short and simple. That's what's magic about it. Sometimes they might ask a question and then all of a sudden you have an opportunity to teach. That's a magic moment. Or you might pass by something as you're driving somewhere and you have an opportunity to teach about something. But again, the ingredients here to make it successful and to turn out well is short and simple. What happens when we go on to long-winded explanations or lectures is they start to tune out and turn us off. So let's keep it short and sweet. As parents, you have a direct influence on your kids. And as they grow up into teenagers, we've been told time and time again that peers are the biggest influence in their life. But studies are showing that parents continue to have a direct influence on their kids even when they're in the teenage years. So please don't feel like, oh, I'm giving up. My kid's a teenager now. I don't have an influence. That is not true. That is a fallacy. You absolutely have an influence. The way to have the best influence on that age of children, the teenage group, is to build that relationship. And that starts today. It doesn't matter what's been done in the past, but you can show up today, being a part of that positive relationship. Show up to your child, no matter the age, showing respect, talking to them with respect and in a kind tone, ask questions, and show sincere interest in what they're interested in. And as you do this, you strengthen the relationship and you are able to have great conversations no matter the age. So show up for your child in that way rather than talking down to them or making it feel like I'm the big person, you're the little person. That is not respectful and they won't want to communicate with you if it has that vibe. So instead, we want to show respect. And you may have heard the phrase before, the phrase that you are enough. And while I love that phrase and I do believe in it, I want to take that one step further. You are more than enough. You are exactly who your child needs. You are the one meant to parent them, not somebody else. This task of parenting, it is not too big for you. You can absolutely do this. Like I said, it doesn't matter what's been done in the past or how you've maybe messed up in the past as a parent. Let's show up to this parenting gig believing in ourselves, that we've got this. We're exactly who our kids need. And what we need to do is, again, build that relationship by showing respect through communication, finding those magic moments to teach. It is not beyond you. You can absolutely do this. Now, a topic that we can talk about with our kids, maybe a principle or value that we want to cover with them, is when we talk about underage drinking. You may think, oh, I really wouldn't have an influence as a parent. But the exact opposite is true. Studies are showing that parents who hit this on the head and have these conversations with their kids absolutely have a direct influence. Again, we want to build that relationship so that when it's time to have these important conversations, we can. And we can sit down and let them know that we do not approve of something. Now, instead of just saying, we don't drink and we're just not going to do that in our family. Instead of showing up like that, it's important to explain the why. Children are smart. Teenagers are smart. It is important to explain why it is crucial that we don't participate in underage drinking. You can talk to them about their brain development and how their brain is still developing, and underage drinking can harm their development in that area. So instead of just saying, no, we're not going to do this, take the time to explain it. You have got this as their parents. You can build that relationship today and talk to them in a respectful way. And you can find those magic moments, those opportunities to teach. Again, it may just be when they ask a question, or when something pops up on the TV, or maybe you're driving somewhere and you have an opportunity to share something. I always say it's a great time to teach when you're in the car, because they're trapped. And it's more likely that they're within earshot and they can hear you. But keep it short, keep it sweet, and take advantage of those magic moments.